Rhiannon Daugs is our next Lion legend, a native of Memphis, Tennessee. She was a four-year starter for the UNA soccer program from 2003 to 2006. She was an All-Gulf South Conference pick and also an academic All-GSC selection. She finished her career second in program history with 31 career goals and first all-time with 27 career assists. She led the team in scoring in 3 of her 4 seasons. Rhiannon Daugs, thank you for being our next Lion legend.
Thank y'all for having me.
We always like to just start these interviews out. The University of North Alabama, what does this place mean to you?
Oh, UNA is where I got started with everything. I've enjoyed every bit of the time at the university, from my soccer career to my teammates to my degree to my professors. I just made lifelong friends and enjoyed every bit of my time at UNA, and definitely love that the university is growing like it is and the athletics department is, blooming like it is. So I'm very happy to give back.
This year marks the 25th anniversary of women's soccer at North Alabama. September 12th against Austin Peay, they're planning a reunion. You're a large part of the UNA soccer story, but what can you say about this program and what it's done for you and so many others?
From the time that I was recruited in 2003, until I graduated in 2007, the soccer program was a part of my life. And then after that, how it took off, with going D1 and just moving facilities and the whole school just continuing to grow. The soccer program has been just monumental in my life for sure.
Well, let's jump into your soccer career and your life leading up to North Alabama. Growing up in the Memphis area, what was your introduction to soccer?
Oh, I've played soccer since I was 5 years old. My brother and we were on the same team for the longest time. Then I played for Memphis Football Club. I started refereeing in high school as well and coached soccer camps at St. Benedict and different schools around the Memphis area. And then when I was recruited to play at UNA, the refereeing continued in Alabama, and with the help of Coach Winkworth and all the officials around that area, I was able to continue developing my career as a player and an official. And then when I came back to Memphis, it just continued with adult league here. I played the GMSA, Greater Memphis Soccer Association Adult League here, and then I also developed my referee career going to a grade 5, traveling nationally around the country to referee and doing college, high school, as well as professional adult soccer. And then now I just continue to play and coach and referee as time allows.
Soccer certainly still plays a large part of your life. Take us back to your high school days. I know you were one of the Memphis area leading scorers just about every year, but high school soccer, what was that experience like?
So I went to a small private school in Memphis. So my club career was much bigger than my high school career. I went to Immaculate Conception in Memphis, and then played for Memphis Football Club from 1993 to 2003. And those days I was just trying to figure out what soccer would do for my life and how I could continue to play it as long as I could. But Memphis Football Club was huge in that our coaches are from around the world. Richard Boot from Poland, Tony Carbagnani from Argentina. They helped us get recruited and figure out how we can continue soccer past high school. And so it was big for me to play for them to get to go to college and play soccer as well.
When did North Alabama come into the equation for you going on to play college soccer?
I was actually at a tournament, and Coach Winkworth saw me playing here in Memphis and walked up, and we started talking about playing college soccer, and I was looking for a school that I wanted to go to, and he just definitely had the perfect fit for me. And so we decided that UNA was where I was going, and didn't look back.
Graham Winkworth, you were part of his first recruiting class at North Alabama. Coach Winkworth, what was it like playing for him?
He was great. He knew how to motivate us, and it was a learning experience for us all, being his first few years as well as ours. But given the atmosphere that we had with playing at the old fields, I know a lot of people don't know that we had to play at some, I don't even remember the name of the park, but it was a little bit off campus. But we all made the best of it and just worked with what we had. And as the school got more and more money to develop the athletics program, then soccer started to benefit a little bit more. But I definitely remember those rides in the old vans and at the old fields and changing in the concession stands. So we definitely go way back.
So I wanted to jump into that. The North Florence Park is where you guys played. Of course, UNA fans are familiar with the UNA soccer complex up here with the nice turf and everything. But tell fans about some of the conditions and the experiences you guys had playing over there.
Well, back in the day, we were roughing it. That's all I can say. It was fun for what experience we had, but we would have to go and park in this city facility, and anytime a ball would get kicked over the fence, the neighbors did not want to give the soccer balls back. We changed in the concession stand, so we were definitely the early days of the UNA soccer program, but we made it and we made the best of it. It was fun.
Now, fans might be familiar with the movie The Sandlot. Tell us a little bit about y'all's Sandlot experience with those balls and the dogs going into backyards.
Well, my little brother, he is 11 years younger than me, and he was our little lion mascot. But it was his job to go and get the soccer balls when we didn't have ball people. And there was one fence that you just didn't cross because that neighbor had a bunch of dogs and too high of a fence for him to get over. I think they kept about half of the soccer balls that we ever got at UNA.
So let's jump into some UNA soccer stuff. The program was really in the early stages. Your first year, you played with Allison Harris, some of your other teammates, Amy Butler Bailey, Allison Woodman, who we've spoken with prior, Emily Hancock. What was it like in those early days arriving on campus with those guys?
I mean, your team is your family, and they were like our own sorority. There were so many, older players to look up to, and they set the standard for us and the expectation for us coming in. And then the new players in my group, Emily and Julia and everybody, we had some big shoes to fill with what the program was at that time. So it just kept building and building. But all those girls were excellent teammates and kind of role models. When you come in, you don't know what to expect. And I was 17 when I came into college, so I literally had no idea what I was doing. They made the experience memorable and fun, and we did the best we could with what we had. And we're all still friends, and it's fun to keep up with everybody, even though everyone's kind of gone back to their hometowns or gone their separate ways. Lifelong friends for sure.
Let's jump into your freshman year, 2003. You started all 19 matches. You scored 11 goals, 10 assists. You were an all GSC selection as well. First thing I want to ask you, do you remember your first collegiate goal?
Honestly, I don't. It was such a blur. It's so long ago too, 2003, but it was so much fun. So I don't honestly remember the very first one, but it took a team effort to get it for sure. I know.
Also, your freshman year all-conference selection after leading the team in scoring, the 11 goals, the 10 assists. But how big of a deal was it for you to take home that all-conference selection your first year?
So being chosen to represent the conference from UNA was a big honor. I was able to, work with my teammates and get the stats. I couldn't do it on my own, so we did it as a team, and I feel like I was able to succeed because of the help that I had around me. Like I had a good group of girls playing with me.
Let's jump into year number 2, your sophomore campaign of 2004. 11 goals, 5 assists. The team went 10-8-1. But first, you had a big moment, a school record and a 7-3 win against Shorter. You scored 4 goals in that ball game. Do you have any memories of that game and how, I guess, on fire you were?
We were just rolling. Like as Coach Winkworth got more recruits in, and we were able to build and strengthen our team, the scoring just came more and more naturally to us, and the whole team developed. So that one game, I just felt it. I was scoring up a storm, and we were able to beat this team, beat Shorter. I forget, did we play at home or away? But it was a memorable game for sure.
Another memorable moment from that year, the season ended with a 2-0 win over Lambeth, and I believe there's photos of you guys with the mudslide after the game. Where did that start? What do you remember from that?
So the whole game was just rainy and miserable, but it's fun to play in the rain. But when you're trying to win and it's frustrating, you're just kicking the ball into mud, and the field was definitely not conducive to draining properly and keeping mud off of the field. So it was just all destroyed by the end of it. So when we finally finished the game, we were like, let's just go. And we started doing slides across the grass. And then the whole team joined in. And then it just turned into one big mud fest. And the pictures speak for themselves, but we had a blast. It was a great ending to the season.
Your sophomore year, anything else stand out from that campaign?
Just like the team camaraderie kept building as we were able to recruit more solid players. So I just remember the sophomore year being more excited about the following season because we were getting more and more strong players to come in and help us build what we wanted to, which was a winning team at UNA.
Your junior year of 2005, you started 12 straight matches, then you missed the rest of the year with an injury, but you still netted 6 goals. Your 7 assists still led the team. But that third season, how tough was it with the injury?
Just breaking my arm in that game was heartbreaking because we were on a roll, like I said, and we had recruited so many strong players, and I wanted to continue breaking records and building my goal record. And then that game in Georgia, just when I broke my arm, I was just heartbroken trying to stomach missing out the rest of the season and not being able to help my team. But it taught me a lot about recovery and making sure that you're taking care of yourself as well, because you're no good to the team injured. So I had to learn a few lessons from that injury.
Now, you mentioned the goal record that you were chasing your senior year, 3 goals, 5 assists. You finished your career with 31 goals. That was second all time. And your teammate, now Emily Hancock, she set the school record with 32 career goals, but you two came in together. What was it like over the years competing, going head to head, chasing the record books?
It was funny because we were both forwards, and the point of our scoring was to help the team win. But there was a little competitiveness between us trying to outscore each other. But I think it was a healthy balance of we knew we needed to work together to help the team win. But it was fun having somebody you're like, oh no, I need to do better. And same for her. We just helped each other push that much further to try and get those goals. Just the competitive nature of soccer in itself.
You finished your career second all-time in goals scored, first in career assists. Currently, you're ranked 8th all-time in career goals, 4th in total assists, 7th in career scoring with 89 total points. UNA Soccer's had a lot of success over the years, but what does it mean to still see your name in the record book like that?
I'm honestly happy and excited, and I just hope that the best for the team, the new players continue to break those records, because I want North Alabama Soccer's name to be among the top in the conference and the whole collegiate world. So it's nice to see it, but I want them to be broken. I want UNA Soccer to top out and make a name for themselves, so I can say that we played there 20 plus years ago.
So you wrap up your career at UNA, and since then the soccer program has really grown with the 25th anniversary approaching. The turf field has come along, Gold South Conference championships, the Division I transition, playing for an ASUN championship in year 1. What's it been like for you to see the program really take off after you finished playing?
It's something like you look back on a group or a team that you were a part of and seeing them continue to succeed and excel after you leave. It's a good feeling because you made a name for yourself while you were there, but then the program continues to thrive. So I love seeing UNA Soccer getting new facilities, getting new coaching staff and recruiting, and being able to build upon what we started in 2003 and even before then. 2003 was when I came, but I just love seeing UNA Soccer succeed and the university having the funds to recruit bigger and better names and compete in bigger schools. It's now D1, correct?
That is
Yeah, so just that's a big jump in and of itself as well.
Before we move on from your playing days, 4 years of playing soccer at UNA, was there anything else that stands out?
Just I enjoyed every bit of it, and I'm so glad that everyone at UNA now is still getting to be a part of the athletic program, and looking at how much it's developed and grown just makes me happy.
So let's talk about the student side of things at North Alabama. You graduated in 2007 with a degree in biology. What was campus life, student life like for you?
So we still had most of the older buildings on campus, but it was like UNA is one of the prettiest campuses in the South. And just walking around, I still remember the GUC being built and having all those new facilities coming in, but I still love the old buildings that we had because it just gave the university such character. So I feel like I got the best of both worlds. I got the old UNA and then a taste of the new. But now going back, I've visited the campus several times since, and it's just amazing to see how it's grown and changed.
You also got involved in the athletic department at UNA as a student worker in the sports information office. You talked about your upbringing in soccer, super involved in soccer, but what was it like for you learning some of the other sports that you went on to work?
Well, that was a learning curve for me because I love watching other sports, but I had never thought about officiating other sports or even the rules behind them. And then when I worked in the sports information department, I was having to help Jeff Hodges with stats keeping, and it was a little bit of a learning curve, I'm sure, for him too, to help me, figure out what an RBI is in baseball, or counting things as a double. It was definitely funny, but we had a good time, and I was able to give back to the university as well.
Now, a biology major, you're working in the sports information department. I've heard a story about how those two worlds kind of collided, athletics and biology, with a possum getting loose in the building, if you will. Tell us about how you kind of came to the rescue with those possums.
Well, one of my favorite classes at North Alabama was natural history of the vertebrates, and that was with Dr. Haggerty. And part of our assignments were to catch live critters from around the shoals area and categorize where we found them, figure out what species they were, and then return them to their home. So everybody in my class was always on the lookout for animals. Well, one day the possum, we got a report. Somebody said there's a possum in the old science building. So I don't know if y'all have ever seen the old science building, but it was that big concrete, bow shaped building, and you had to take the stairs all the way up. And when our class heard about the possum, we were all so excited because we wanted to catch the possum for one of our mammal counts. So we went out there and finally caught this little guy. We had to have the big gloves, and we took him out to, is it Shoals Creek, or I forget the name of the little creek we went to, but we took him out there and released him into the forest. But it was such a big, disruption from our daily, catching frogs and salamanders, that you finally get a mammal as part of your species count. So total nerd out there, I know, but that was the funniest. That was the funniest part of that class.
Now, you mentioned it earlier, your brother Rory, he was a bit of a personal mascot for you. UNA fans might remember him dressed up as Leo the Lion at games. What was the family feel like amongst the program?
UNA soccer was a family. Everybody's parents would come as much as they could. The girls would, we'd have cookouts and everything, and just accepting my little brother as the mascot was just part of it. Like, he was everybody's little baby, and he was always everybody's little baby, but it was just cute to see him dress up as a lion. And he'd probably kill me now because he's 25 years old, but just seeing him support us and be our little lion mascot was so cute.
Now, you've done some incredible things post UNA, but first off, you graduate. What was next for you?
So I graduated from UNA with my degree in biology, and I came back to Memphis and continued to officiate, and really took off with my referee career as well, and started working on my master's degree. And I did a little bit of teaching for a bit, but I have always worked in aviation, sales, insurance, and finally was able to get my pilot's license. And now I've continued my career in the aviation sales industry, and I'm working on my MBA right now. Just working and flying around clients and enjoying life, and just had my little baby, my first little baby.
A lot to dive in through to with that, but first off, the piloting, skydiving as well. Where did the fascination with aviation come along?
My whole family's in aviation. So my dad was in the Marine Corps, and he fixed airplanes. My mom was a flight attendant for Saudi Arabian Airlines. My middle brother works in avgas sales. My littlest brother, the lion mascot, is in the Air National Guard working as a crew chief. And my husband is a C-17 pilot in the military as well, and for FedEx. So it's just in our blood. And I just continued with the sales and insurance side of things, as well as having my private pilot license.
So you've mentioned the officiating you've done. First off, tell UNA fans about all the different levels you've been able to officiate.
So from everything from youth soccer around the country to semi-pro and pro leagues, I've been able to officiate USSF and college, NISOA, and as well as high school. So I got all three referee licenses and was able to just work around the country and even internationally. Once in Brazil, I was able to officiate. So it's a big part of my soccer still.
Now, I'm sure as a player, you had some friendly interactions with officials. Now, as an official, what's it been like being on the other side?
You definitely see that I should have kept my mouth shut a little bit more on the field as a player. But moving up in the ranks as an official has given me a new respect for the game as well, because the officials, it's a whole third team, and we have to work just as hard as athletes to train and study the game and prepare for matches as players do. So when I can't say that I used to do this, but now when I go out on the field as a player, I have a whole new respect for officials because I've been on both sides.
Now, you've been able to experience the World Cup as well, the 2019 FIFA Women's World Cup in France. The U.S. won it, I believe. I know you got to go catch a lot of games, see some sights as well. Tell us about that experience.
So I hadn't been to the Women's World Cup since 1999 when it was here in the United States, and then in 2019, my husband and I had a trip planned, and then when he was promoted at FedEx, he couldn't make it. So my mom and I decided to take a mother-daughter trip, and that was the best experience ever. We traveled all over France and Switzerland, going to different matches. We stayed in different Airbnbs. We had the best time, and we got to experience the World Cup the right way, and we celebrated. I'm sure the pictures will do it justice, but we went to the quarterfinal matches, the semis, and then the finals, and were able to see the United States take the championship, and it was an amazing experience, and we had so much fun.
So you mentioned your husband, Josh. You guys just had a baby a month ago, a little over a month ago. Lily, first off, I know Lily's sleeping in the house right now. Has she started playing soccer yet?
Not yet, but she has her uniform and cleats all ready for when she can walk.
What's it been like for you guys welcoming the daughter into the family?
Oh, it's been the best addition to our lives by far. She's the missing piece. Like we've had good, we're older, 35, 38 years old, and she's our first baby, but didn't know what we were missing till she came into the world, and now I just couldn't imagine it without her.
I know Lily's been a blessing for you guys, and now your former teammates, UNA fans, they have an opportunity to meet young Lily.
Yes, she wants to say hey to everybody and that she will be part of UNA's legends one day too, I hope.
Her mom's a Lion legend, and she'll be a future Lion legend, I'm sure.